All right, greetings and welcome to the Zero Hour Squared Classics. I am Mike Trujillo, your host. Joining me right now is a founding member of one of New York hardcore's most infamous and greatest bands as far as crossover. They are from New York City, like I mentioned, Biohazard. They are currently on tour with the original lineup: Schuler on drums, Bobby Hamble on guitar, Evan Seinfeld bass and vocals, and joining me right now today is Billy Graziadei. Did I say that right?
Graziadei is perfect.
Graziadei. Okay, took me a minute. I kept for like 25 years. I've been saying it wrong, so I apologize. But Billy, welcome to the Zero Hour Squared Classics. You guys will be here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, October 10th, over at the Sunshine Theater. Getting ready to embark on a North American tour as we speak now. And again, you will be at the Sunshine Theater with joining you will be Onyx, Bayway, and Swollen Teeth. Welcome to the Zero Hour Squared Classics, Billy. How you doing today?
Awesome, Brian. Thank you for having me, bud.
Thank you for joining us. I do appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the show. It's been some time since you guys have been here in Albuquerque. I can't even remember how long it's been, but it's got to be over 10 years, something like that. But it's been that way, period, because you guys took a break. You guys kind of got back together, did several things, but you guys are full force, and it's pretty amazing to me that this is the original lineup after all these years. It's crazy. So talk to us a little bit about this upcoming tour.
So it is. It's. I don't think we've been to New Mexico. I think Albuquerque. I can't remember the last time. I got to Google that.
Maybe 25 years? Has it been something that long?
It's been a long time for sure. I think the last time we played there with the original guys was probably Pantera.
Yes.
Pantera.
Yeah, I was Pantera and Sepultura, I think,
Yep.
if I'm not
And
mistaken.
then during the World Cup, I remember that.
Oh,
So we this we're the only band, bro, from our genre in that era with the original guys. Like we've all lost so many friends and family, but there's been a lot of musicians, bands that aren't around anymore. So it's an honor. It's a great thing to be playing with the guys. We're having a blast. It started as a reunion, like it was let's get together and jam and have some good times, and we did. And then it quickly became a restart. And when I say that, I mean like it stopped looking at like a reunion where a lot of bands get back together. It's you got bills to pay and all these things. Like, oh, let's just go one. Let's just bury the hatchet with a couple things, and then go out and make some money. It wasn't and it was never the motivation for Biohazard. It was always just having a good time. We're a vibe band first. We got to get along. We have to have that energy as friends and brothers first, and then we kick ass. If that's there and it's not fun, we don't enjoy it, and it's over before it even started. So I moved on with Biohazard, started a band called Power Flow with Sendog from Cypress Hill, Christian from Fear Factory, and then I have a solo band called Billy Bio. So I had moved on. I was on the phone one night with my manager Scott, and he's been guiding me through I'd say the 2/3 of the Biohazard career, but even helped me out with my solo stuff and Power Flow. And he was in the hospital. It was a Thursday night. I was in the studio working on a new record, and he was more interested in talking to me about what I got going on than himself. And when your buddy's in the hospital, I wanted to talk about him. He was confident he was getting out the next day. They told him that he looked good to be released Friday morning. We talked for like an hour and a half. I was unfortunately, the last person to talk to him. So I got a call the next morning that he woke up in bad, took a turn for the worse and didn't make it. But it was tough and sad to lose a good friend like that. The last thing Scott said to me was, "Yo, bury the hatchet, put it behind you." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Biohazard. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to to your fans. You guys did something unique and special. Do that again." And I'm like, "Nah, I fucking did it already. I moved on. I'm not, I'm not rehashing old stuff." And then I saw Evan, my bass player, at the Rainbow. It was a memorial for Scott. shook his hand, told him I wish it was great to see him. I wish it was under better circumstances. And then about, several months later, people were calling me up saying, "Hey, Bobby called me up, said, him and Evan talked." Bobby, Danny, and I remained friends over the years. But Evan, I hadn't talked since he split the band in 2010. So it slowly got back, it slowly started happening. I wasn't into it. I was busy with my bands. And then I was like, you know what? I kept remembering these words from my buddy Scott. So I said, yeah, let's jam. Let's just fucking get together and hang out, grab some food. And we did. And it was awesome, bro. We'd never looked back. It was only good vibes, good energy. The band was on top. Every show was topping up every show. It's like we found the fountain of youth. Like there's more energy from Biohazard, at our age on stage than most bands in their 20s.
Right.
So and then we went on, I thought it was going to last, it was a great time. I'm like thinking, okay, cool. It'll last a couple shows. And then somebody's going to bring up something from the past. It's going to be this big fight, same old, shit. And it never happened.
Nice.
So we kept doing it. And those 3 shows turned into a small tour. And then it became 3 months, and then it became 3 years. And the last thing I would have ever guessed, Mike, if you said to me, yo, in 3 years, you guys are going to be still touring with a new record that you're going to be super fucking proud of. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. No way. But that's where we're at. So we just kept it going. We didn't sit down and plan anything. We just kept enjoying the ride and having, high-fiving each other on stage every night. That's a fucking you're in a great spot when you're enjoying what you're doing. And as a fan first, when a band is up there just going through the motions, that it's a money grab. But when a band is on stage having fun with each other, high-fiving, like, fuck yeah, that's real. And that energy is contagious. So it's almost like we found the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
And we're still doing it. So I'm pretty psyched. I'm not going to stop until it sucks again. Not again, but until it sucks. The minute it slides away, I'll move on.
Right. I ran into you in LA a few months ago, and I told you that you looked like you did a deal with the devil. The whole band, like you said, the Fountain of Youth. And I want to get into the album Divided We Fall, because that's what that's your latest effort that you're going to be touring to support and play. And it sounds like you just picked up, like you said, right where you left off. There's a couple of crucial things that I want to mention about Biohazard that I think is very important. Number one, you mentioned the fact that the original lineup, I mean, that's amazing in of itself. And all the groups in the New York hardcore area or New York area, New Jersey, that you kind of, there's still, a lot of them are still around, but a lot of members have passed away. I'm talking everybody from like the bands in Jersey, like Overkill, Whiplash, and then New York City, Sheer Terror, Typo Negative, Leeway, Cro-Mags, all of those, Agnostic Front. But you guys still, again, with that, the foursome that you have, I think it's very important to illustrate how important it is that lineup is together and still youthful and enthusiastic. And there's one more point I want to make that I think is interesting about Biohazard that I don't think you get credit for, is that you've crossed 5 different genres. You crossed over. You were one of the first to do the metal, punk, hardcore crossover, then hip hop and rap. That's 5 different genres. There might be subgenres, but it's important to, again, to illustrate how you guys have been impactful in all music in all areas in regards to that. How do you feel about all those years doing that?
That and a token gets me on a train, bro. We did create something new and unique and special that resonated with a lot of people, and there's a reason why it worked. But I don't, I never was one to pat myself on the back and take glory for something, that was just, victim. We were victims of circumstance. It just happened that we were 4 guys that had similar views. It's kind of like the underground world, like the subculture. You grow up, you feel like you're an outsider, like you're unwanted, like you don't belong, and you're an outcast. And then you stumble into the underground music scene, and you could call it the punk scene, the metal scene, maybe the hip hop scene. I don't know about that, but there's something about the family energy that welcomes you in the underground scene, that you suddenly feel like you're not an outcast, you're not an outsider, that you're not alone in the world. You just realize, oh, I was just hanging out with people that, I didn't gel with. It's not my scene. And then you suddenly feeling so welcome, and you feel a part of something, and you don't let go of that. And so that's why fucking, the saying is rock and roll, but metal and all that, it never dies, because we all, once we find that feeling of family, you stay with it. And then for younger people, when they find it, they realize it's the outside plastic world that fucking sucks, and it's not them that's wrong. It's the people that they just haven't magnetized the right mindset of people. And when they find that scene, they're there for life. So we become lifers, and that's a great thing. For me, I was lucky enough to find it in the subculture, in the underground music scene, and then I found it again with the guys in Biohazard. So that's another thing that's kind of that is a big part of me, that it keeps me in it. When I'm not on stage, I'm in front of the stage watching bands, and I enjoy it. I love it. It's such a part of who I am. That's where we met. We met at the Beowülf, the memorial for Dale, right? I think.
Yeah, that was just in July.
Yep. And then so to take credit and look for pat in the back or compliments, I never, those things never sit well with me. I'm just a regular dude, just plays in a band. I got something to say and I say it. That's it.
All right. Well, we'll give you the credit for sure. I mean, all of us that love the music and how it resonates. I think you bring up a very important thing as well, that when Biohazard and the bands like yourself, all those years, give us an empowering feeling, because like you said, walking sometimes into a room of people and you look completely different from everybody else, but you can sit there and you can break bread with them, and they know that you're real people, but they also know, or they should also feel and understand, that people like us won't take any bullshit. And it's nice to have that feeling. That's what I appreciate about the hardcore music that Biohazard and bands like yourselves have been doing for decades now, and it's really cool. Which brings us kind of full circle to right now, where we're at in 2025 in this tour. Divided We Fall, latest album that you guys are doing or have done. You've got 3 singles that are currently out there for that. And it's a fantastic album. It's really heavy, dynamic. The duet vocals are still there between you and Evan. Just tell us a little bit about the approach with this record.
So we are on tour, playing all these classic songs, having a great time, kicking ass every night. I kept waiting for things to get worse, and they never did. It just got better and better. And we didn't sit down and said, hey, let's do a record, but we started sharing ideas and riffs, and we're jamming on some ideas. And it just naturally happened. Our managers stepped up and said, hey, this record label wants to, if you guys are into it, if you're into doing a record, just somebody, wants to put it out. And yeah, we're having fun. We didn't really pay much attention to it. And then, oh, there's another record label that wants to do something with you guys. And then another one. So that was always in the wings. But it took a long time for us to just naturally let shit come out of us. And Biohazard has always been like that. Like our best work, in my opinion, looking back, were, they were songs that kind of just naturally happened. They weren't forced. We didn't write them to make a record. I write songs, and it's one song at a time. That's it. And when I feel like I nailed it and it captured everything that was inside of me, I write another one with a different inspiration and a different, with a different viewpoint. and a whole different vibe or a whole different energy. And then I keep doing that over and over again. So it got to a point where you have these songs, suddenly they magnetize together and they jump off the paper or the tape or the digital computer and says, yo, we're a fucking album and we're called Divided We Fall. So there came a point where we had all these songs and we look back, we're like, whoa, shit, we got some stuff. So we approached that like we did all our other records and all of my writing. We all do the same, but there was a couple of really interesting moments here. We worked with Matt Hyde was our producer, and when in the earlier days he's like, how's stuff coming out? I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Some things are some gems here and there, but overall. And he interrupted me and he said, listen, I love what you do with Power Flow and Billy Bio. You grew as an artist, as a songwriter, as a singer. That's great. But I don't need you. And I don't want you to be Billy Biohazard from 2023 or 2024. I need you to be fucking Billy Biohazard in 1993. Oh. You guys create something so fucking unique and special. And that's when people fell in love with you guys. He goes, it's easy. Just throw everything out that you learned and just bring yourself back to those, So I did, Mike. I went back in. I learned all these vocal techniques to be able to preserve my voice and sing aggressive and do what I do. So I stopped doing vocal warm-ups. I focused. I felt like, and so the minute that happened, I realized, yeah, it's us. We made something. Just make it again. Just do what we do best. There was another interview I did with Kerry King, and I don't want to take up all your time with these stories, but we were doing an interview. We were on tour together, Biohazard Slayer, and it was a Guitar World interview. The journalist asked me, hey, I'm going to ask you both the same question. And it was a weird interview. We're doing it side by side. He goes, I'm going to ask you both the same question. I expect different answers. Billy, when you guys make a Biohazard record, each Biohazard sounds a little different. It's still Biohazard, but sounds a little different. And, you guys take it you just take it a step further where you left off with the last record. And as a creative, as an artist, for me, I'm like, yeah, that's what, why would I want to rewrite the same song? I want to push myself to be, take the bar up, notch it up a little bit. And then he asked Kerry the same question. And he said to Kerry, when I get a Slayer record, I know it's going to be a fucking Slayer record. They all sound similar. There's a certain sound, there's a certain quality, there's a certain structure, and it's Slayer. I know what I'm getting. And Kerry said, yeah, why would I want to I know what my fans like. I'm going to give them what they want. Why would I change it? And I looked at it and I was like, why would you want to recreate the same thing over and over again? But I didn't realize it then. But what Kerry created and the guys created with Slayer is a brand, so to speak, that you can always rely on. You know what you're going to get. And there's moments there's records that are just like, holy shit. And there's other records just like, yeah, that's cool. Great record. I love that song, that song. Sometimes there's 5 or 6 songs that are just killer, but it's always Slayer. And I wish I would have listened to him more. And I think at the time I probably criticized that viewpoint because it wasn't what I looked at as something I wanted to do as an artist. I didn't want to just redo the same thing. I wanted to kind of push myself. And I always have been like that. But between Matt Mahad, our producer, what he said to me, and then remembering that interview with Kerry, so I gotta give Kerry props. It makes a lot of sense because now Divided We Fall is a record. If you know anything about Biohazard, it could fit right in there with Urban Discipline or State of the World Address. It's every band says, oh, we went back to our roots. We didn't go back to our roots. We are the roots. All we were ourselves. We got rid of any kind of other fluff and bullshit on top of that and just let ourselves be ourselves.
That's awesome because all that shows to me and tells me is the growth and the maturity of you and your bandmates over all this time, and like you said, kind of getting over any kind of hard feelings and just moving on, but also producing what you still had, that youthful energy is still there. Biohazard is still very much relevant in this day and age, and maybe even more so doing with the state of things the way they are politically, social, worldwide. And again, you touch on helping people getting that empowerment and believing in themselves to get through the roughest times that there are, because it definitely is that. And I also appreciate that acknowledgement of Slayer, kind of like I used to think that of AC/DC, like, oh, they all sound the same. But then when you really sit and listen to them, they don't. And they're more complicated than people give them credit for. And those songs are enduring. They last a lifetime. It's really good stuff. Um,
Yep.
the three singles that you got now, Eyes on Six, Forsaken, and Fuck the System, incredible. Really cool. So I I know we're kind of running out of time. I wanted to talk about the tour itself because you're playing with Onyx, and you have a history with Onyx. Onyx, who else is it? Bayway and Swollen Teeth. But do you do a collaboration, or you did not want to give that away with Onyx when you go on tour with them?
Yeah, dude. We did a song called Slam with them, and we did a Judgment Night song for the soundtrack. And it was early collabs that we did with them. Judgment Night, the movie's not that great, but the soundtrack's fucking amazing. I highly recommend go check it out. It was the first time like rock, we were doing it already, but that was a first record that showcased like collaborations between metal and hardcore or rock bands and hip hop. It worked great. So we were friends with those guys, did one show together in New York, but we never toured. We were in Belfast this year on tour, and we walk off stage to take a break right before the last round of songs, drinking some water, and they show up backstage. What's up, Biohazard? And we're like, Belfast? What is Onyx doing in Belfast? It was our first time playing Belfast in our career. We always played Dublin, but never Belfast. So we were excited, sold out crowd, and they're like, let's jam, let's do a song. We're like, what are we gonna do? I don't know, we'll figure it out. So we went on stage, unrehearsed, and just played Slam, I think, or I don't remember what song. I was so quick. But then all the videos popped up on YouTube and social media the next day, and people were psyched about it. And I'm like, now we can tour together. Let's do a fucking tour. It took us a little bit to put it together, but it happened, and now we're doing it. So I'm looking forward to it. To come back to Albuquerque and play with the guys. Yes, there were collabs, and will there be a Biohazard? 100%, bro. We can't not be on stage together, on tour together, and not do something cool. So I'm looking forward to that.
Couple more quick questions, and I'm going to let you go. You also have a tequila brand that you showed me when we were in LA, and tell us the name of it and what prompted you to create that, and give us a little bit of details about it.
Yeah, I'm actually here more to talk about Biohazard. The tequila is called Ghost Tequila. It's a spicy tequila. It's premium. It's amazing. 100% pure blue agave, spicy tequila. It's fucking great. But I would say it's not as spicy as the new Biohazard record.
Oh, nice.
So, but that's right. We did do shots, didn't we?
Yes, it's good
Yeah.
stuff.
So I'm going to be doing something. I'm doing something there with the tequila. I think I'm going to do a bottle signing, and we're going to throw a party. But Divided We Fall, you mentioned the three singles. Eyes on Six, we just came out with the video and dropped that single a couple weeks ago. And then we had the first song we did was Forsaken, that came out in June. And then July, we released Fuck the System, which I was going to change the title I suggested we change the title to Divided We Fall. And we kept the title of Fuck the System, and it just seemed to fit. But Divided We Fall is a line in the song that seems to fit this current situation around the world, seems to fit our situation. And it just to resonate with all the guys, and it became the title. There's no title track song, but I would say because it's from Fuck the System, that would be the title track. But three bangers. We're gearing up to release one more before the record comes out. Comes out October 17th. Divided We Fall. We got these dope packages. if you're, I'm into collecting stuff, so I love, when bands release like special release limited edition vinyl, but
Oh,
some of
cool.
the coolest color combos. And Biohazard is black and orange, just like Halloween. And I was always like, yeah, I've seen enough of those versions of some of color codes, color mixtures,
Right.
bro. Unbelievable. It some of the shit is cool, but I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just here to talk about the band. We do have those things available, but you can check us out on everything is Biohazard DFL, or you can check my personal stuff. It's Billy Biohazard, but we're looking forward to coming there, right? It's been a long time. Albuquerque, for some reason, I think we were there with Ozzy and we were there with Pantera, but for years we would miss it. In the early days, it was a normal stop. But regardless, we're coming. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to play the new songs and all the classic Biohazard jams. So we're probably going to play for a while until he gets sick of us. We're just going to keep playing.
Cool. I'm down with that, and I think everybody's going to be excited. Real quickly, I know we mostly wanted to keep it to Biohazard stuff, but I do have to ask you because you mentioned loss, and we had two big losses. Both Dale Henderson from Beowulf, and I know you had worked with them as far as you produced an EP with them this last year, I believe, right, or the end of last year. We lost him, and then we lost, of course, Ozzy Osbourne, and I wanted to just get kind of your take on the loss of both of those, the impact that they might have had on your life individually.
So that was a big loss, but they're all big losses. Brent from Mastodon recently also. So Ozzy, we were lucky enough and blessed to have toured with him. He was fucking amazing to tour with. I remember bumping into him in Heathrow Airport. We were on tour. I had a layover. He must have had the similar layover. We bumped into him, and he sees us, and Biohazard, what are you doing here? I don't remember being with anybody else. I seem to recall him being by himself. And we were just talking about the tour, and he interrupted our answer to tell us, did you hear about that poor boy, that poor soul from Nirvana? We're like, no, what happened? Because he killed himself last night. And we were just in shock. So we learned about Kurt's, death from Ozzy. And while we were in disbelief and shock, he was more concerned with Kurt, the fact that he left his daughter without a father. And I remember, I didn't have kids at the time, and I remember that striking me as, that's weird. Usually, somebody passes, you're talking about them, especially another artist. Like, what a shame. All he could say was like, and he left a daughter without a father. That's horrible. That's such a shame. And then Dale that's a big blow. Him and I became good friends. I produced, it's a full length record. We worked on it for the past couple of years between my touring and his touring. And him and I got really close. And maybe a month after we finished the record, I was just about to start mixing, and he passed away. So that's where we met at the memorial. He's a fucking super talented person, a writer, a poet, really unique, amazing writing ability. I tell people he is like the David Bowie of fucking rock and metal, punk. He's so, like, his ideas. I never had anybody, I never had the honor of working with anybody like him before, and I doubt I ever will. He was such a unique cat and a talent. So he's well missed, and it's very, very odd and kind of upsetting to work on the record now and mix it when I hear his voice and I'll never have it again. Like, it's gone. He's so it's a great record. There's no title yet, but still working on it, trying to finish it and get it out. But it needs its just desserts. It needs to be heard properly, and Dale needs to have this record kind of be the last book on the bookshelf, the bookend to his creativity, which is amazing.
Well, Billy, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on our show, and we're looking forward to your concert coming up here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Once again, that's October 10th at the Sunshine Theater with Onyx, Bayway, and Swollen Teeth. Really looking forward to that, man. Can't wait to see that energy. I've been watching the videos. Evan, everybody looks and sounds great, man. It's I get pumped up. Those are really great songs, and I do congratulate you on this new tour and on Divided We Fall. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell our viewers here in Albuquerque? This is worldwide, but I really wanted Albuquerque to really check this out and hear from you, because get ready for this tour, because it's going to be a crucial show.
Yeah, dude, thank you. I appreciate your time. Appreciate the help. Yeah, that last question threw me for a spin. Just to bring point to this, Dale is from the lead singer and writer of a band called Beowülf.
Yes.
They were the original OG hardcore punk band from Venice. I think they started like mid to late 80s. Well respected in the music scene. They were before Suicidal Tendencies, and I got nothing but love, and they're a big influence on me, Mike and the guys. But it was great to see all the OG Suicidal members playing the benefit. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. We pretty much touched at everything. I know it's short, but I appreciate the time. I got another interview to do, and he can wait a couple minutes. But it's we're really psyched about the record. Biohazard is back stronger than ever. Looking forward to playing in Albuquerque, and like I said, all the classics. You haven't seen Biohazard, come to see us. If your uncle or your cousin or your older brother seen us and came home with a T-shirt, come and hang. It's a good time. We're going to throw a party. It's going to be a big event, but we're looking forward to it, and we'll see you almost in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks again, Billy. Once again, Billy Graziadei. I think I said it right. I've been practicing, making sure.
Yes.
But once again, Billy from Biohazard, and again, October 10th at the Sunshine Theater here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with Onyx, Bayway, and Swollen Teeth. Thanks again, Billy. You guys have a great beginning of a tour, and we'll see you here in Albuquerque soon.
Thank you, brother. We're also trying to put a local band on the gig. That was always a big part of our career, and we got shut down to begin this tour because promoters don't like that. I'm like, fuck that. It's our show. So right. Love to find new and up and coming bands to give a chance. So we're looking to do that also. So
awesome. All
right. Put your name in the hat.
There you go. Sounds
Thank you, Mike.
Good. Thank you, Billy. This has been the 0 Hour Squared Classics.